welcome to Marriage Matters with the Sibulas. I am your host, Manar Sibula, and I am with my lovely husband, Moffat Sibula. Today we'll be talking about communication.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I think we'll have a wonderful time talking about this important aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So communication, the importance of communication, and our experience with communication is what we'll be dealing with today.
Welcome.
Communication. Why is communication important?
I think in any sphere of life, communication is important because anything uncommunicated is as good as non-existent. And without communicating either your expectations or your desires, the likelihood is that you would continually be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because much of the disappointments we go through in life is when what we expected is not done or said in the manner that we thought it should.
Yeah.
So I think communication helps in ensuring that we don't suffer unnecessary disappointments because we are able to express our desires and hope that the other person responds to them as we wish they should or they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in any relationship, particularly marriage, because this is, of course, marriage matters. It's important to articulate your expectations, and it's so easy for us. Let me not talk about women across the world because I don't think we are all the same. But I can tell you that it's easy for me to think things in my mind and just think that you will kind of get it, like read my mind.
Yeah.
Until you communicate it and you realize this person is not a mind reader. So going forward, I need to really tell him what I expect. And this is not to say it's dictating, I want you to do this or do this. You said you wanted communication, right? Now I'm telling you to do this. That's not what it means. It's just really sharing your thoughts so that you bring the other party in, and so you can converse and even come to a place of compromise, because you've articulated it. Because another thing is that one thing that we don't know is that no expectation, or one thing that we need to know is that no expectation is expectation. Is an expectation. So one thing I remember in our premarital counseling, we were urged to talk about what you expect. And I remember in that time I thought we talked about everything we needed to talk about in terms of our future as a married couple. And I was just so grateful that, our journey with our counselors really allowed us to tap in areas that we never thought of until we were introduced to them by the counselors.
Yeah, I think I might also add that it is actually a bonus, especially as a guy, when you are able to do what she expected you to do without her communicating it. But half the time you will not get it right, but I would just say it takes a lot of effort to, either through observation or inquisition, whatever method you might use to gain some sort of understanding in terms of what she expects you to do, how she expects you to love her, how she expects you to treat her, whatever case it might be. For instance, one of the things that my wife said to me was that when we are, let's say we are walking into a building and there happens to be a door, she expects that I would stand back and she walks in first. Whereas my orientation was that, what if you walk in first and you find a monster in there and I'm left outside? So my understanding was that I should be the one go in first to confront whatever is in there. But with time I realized that what she meant by that. But I appreciated that it was communicated. So just imagine that, let's say 5 years later in marriage, and she's still thinking, I only wish he knew that I did not like him doing this. But with communication, you know the intentions, you know how she is likely to react to what maybe you might be doing or saying. So this must be communicated, as tiring as it might be, because obviously you would want him to read your mind, but at least judge him based on what you instructed him or at least told him to do for you. Yeah, I think that's where it becomes important foundationally.
And also understanding that you are raised in different families and you might come from similar backgrounds, but your family orientation will never be exactly the same. So what is normal to me because of my background might not be normal to him. And so it's so easy to not communicate it because it's like second nature to you. You just think he'll understand it. And you'll find that's where the clash comes into play because I was raised this way, you were raised this way, and now there's a continuous clash on how we do things because what is normal to you is not normal to me.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to be aware of those things that you have become a norm for you in a way, you know. I don't know what example to give, but I remember when we were in our premarital counseling, they gave us an example. They said, for instance, a couple, this couple was going on a vacation, and this girl, when she was, the way she was raised was that whenever they went on vacations with her family, was that the father will stop at different points and they will, let's see this on their way to their actual destination. Whereas with the guy, the father will just travel straight to the destination or the vacation place and come back without no stops. So that was where the frustration came into place because the girl wants to stop and explore the different points, tourist attractions that are on the way to the actual destination, and the guy just wants to get to the destination because that's how he was trained, that's how he was raised. So these things are normal for each individual, but if they are not articulated and they are not communicated, it will be a constant clash point because I don't know it's a normal thing for you, you don't know it's a normal thing for me, and however we just find ourselves fighting because of that. So it's important to communicate at all costs. I think one thing that I appreciate about my husband and I is that we have what we call check-ins. And so what this is that they're never really scheduled or planned. They are just random most of the time, or maybe spontaneous is a better word to describe it, where we just be sitting and either one of us would say, so how have we been doing so far? How's our marriage? And I think it becomes a very safe space to compliment, but also to also communicate on the areas that you might feel need to be need to be given more attention. So appreciate those check-ins because we are constantly it's again a point where I pour in his life, he pours in my life, but at the same time he can be like, I think this and this needs to change, or I could tell him I think we can improve on these areas. And so it becomes better to journey because we are always stopping, checking our wheels, checking that there's still petrol in our tank, and making sure that our car is serviced as we journey on this journey of marriage. So I don't know if other couples do it, but I think it's one of the things that I would advise other couples to do because the thing is, when you don't communicate or when you don't check with each other where you are in marriage, you don't know when you will snap out of it, and maybe it could be a little too late because there's just a lot of things piling on each other that you are not really giving attention to, and sharing your frustrations and the good things that you guys have, the good and the bad, and not having a safe space to communicate those things can be troublesome if we don't do it. So if there's one thing I would share with people is consider that in your marriage, consider that also in your relationships and in your friendships. Where are we? How are we doing? It really helps, I think.
I think what I'm taking away from what you just said now is the reason this is important, communication is important, is that marriage can be viewed as a collision of two different histories So what she said could be normal for her, might be abnormal to me. So these are two histories that are colliding. And in that collision, we must be able to communicate. This is how I was raised. This is how I was raised. This is my perspective. And in that process of articulating your unique histories or your different histories, it will be easier then to find that even at an intellectual level, you guys fall in love. There's a falling in love of minds and not just hearts, because you might find that in her articulation of her history, she might pull out things that she does not appreciate about it, however important it might be. The same way I would do that. And so when we are able to say, I don't think how my family raised me is how I want to raise our kids, and then she does the same, she pulls out those things. So in the process, I fall in love with her mind, she probably falls in love with my mind. So now we are building together in terms of perspective and orientation. So communication does clarify that. But if we don't talk about these things as early as possible in our marriages, we will be shocked 5 years later, and you'll feel like, I thought I knew him.
Yes.
I thought I knew her. And that is when frustrations would happen, and a lot of cracks would have been on the foundation of your marriage.
So guys, another thing is creating dents or making dents in your marriage by what you say to each other at a time where you guys are fighting or disagreeing on something. Please don't do that. Please don't attack the person instead of attacking the issue at hand. Because more often than not, you'd find that you speaking all these bad words towards each other, and then you then want to encourage them.
It does
They
not work.
might not you really embark on projects on
together.
Exactly, because the other party might just feel like, but you're only saying that now. When we are fighting, you tell me all these things. But also remember, there's an enemy, and he does not want to see happy marriages, happy godly marriages. So what he does is that he takes the words that you speak against your partner and reinforces them. And so what he will do is that even your partner believes in this, believes that you'll never amount to something. Who do you think you are? And so when the Lord calls a person in whatever area or sphere, the enemy comes and guess what? He comes with the words that you have spoken against your partner.
Exactly.
So don't partner with the enemy. Rather partner with the Holy Spirit and grab what the Lord says about your partner and begin to speak life in your partner. In fact, if it means, hey, let's do this, do this. Make sure that he fulfills his purpose here on earth. That's one of the things that marriages should do, to wake each other up and say, let's do this. Remember, you're going to account at the end of the day. And for as long as you're married to me, I must make sure that you get the good and faithful servant remark at the end of the day. So please don't poke holes into your marriage by attacking each other.
I think what I also appreciate in what you just said now is the issue of approach. How do I approach my husband? How do I approach my wife conversationally? I love how the Lord, or the angel of the Lord, approaches Gideon. He says to him, you mighty man of valor, at a point when the man felt like, I don't think I am. But the principle I took from that was that when the Lord speaks to us, he usually speaks to us not on the basis of our earthly performances, but on the basis of our heavenly potential. So if I speak to her on the basis of what she can be, what she should be, as opposed to putting her down with words and, my tongue becoming a knife to always cut her down to shameful size, I think that's when we keep on just bringing these dents into our marriage. So the idea is to always speak to her on the basis of her heavenly potential. And maybe lastly, the idea of always being safe in your spouse's mouth. If I can protect my wife with my words to a point where, irrespective of where I might be geographically, she might not be close to me at the time, but when she has the confidence that I know that when my husband speaks about me, I am safe in his mouth, you must know then that you are winning in the area of communication, because words can be used as weapons and they can destroy. And so in that process of being safe in each other's mouth, we are not saying then that you must just dismiss immoral behavior or hurtful behavior and just keep on just being naive and just saying only the good. No, I'm just saying then that if the vision and the desire is to build each other up in this union, you'll find that you are more effective in helping each other become the best versions of yourselves, as opposed to becoming the worst of yourselves because of the misuse of words and tongues. So that's my take on the issue of dance. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. That was our son. I hope he does not wake up. That will be another journey on
Yeah.
itself.
We'll have,
Yeah, but being safe. Also about being vulnerable, right? Is that you're going to be vulnerable with me, and I'm going to be vulnerable
and
with
transparent.
you,
Yeah.
and transparent. So don't take, your partner's vulnerability
And use it against
and
them.
use them again at a time where we are fighting. Yeah, no wonder they did this to you.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
no wonder this is happening. Don't.
That's what kills.
That's what kills. But if you are safe in each other's mouths, it will never get to that point. Even when you're fighting against each
It
other.
will never be used against
Yes,
you.
even
Yeah.
if you're disagreeing. So just make sure that you honor each other. If I honor my husband and I respect my husband,
Yeah.
there's certain things I'll never say about him, no matter what. If he honors me and respects me, there's certain things he
You'll
won't
never
say.
say.
Because sometimes I hear people speak ill of their partners. And I wonder to myself how easy that was for you. This woman, she doesn't, or this man, he doesn't. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't be part of that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what I'm not going to do is tear my husband down in your presence.
Yeah.
In his presence or in his absence, I'm not going to tear him. I'm not partnering with the lies of the enemy over my husband's life, especially when I'm the closest person in his life. So.
And I appreciate that.
Oh, babe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry, I interrupted you. Yes.
I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's important that we always strive to call out the best out of each other. I think when I read the Message version of the Bible, particularly when it concerns the husband, it says, I must always strive to call out the best, just as Christ always seeks to call out the best out of his bride, the church. So if we take that approach, I think it would be easier to build healthy and strong marriages, as opposed to marriages that are always characterized by wounds and hurt and mistrust and so forth. Yeah, but communication does clarify our positions on issues, our perspectives on issues, and even things that happened in the past that might affect the present circumstances of our union. So communication brings up all of those things, and we're able to deal with them together. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we're gonna end this video here because I think our son
that
is
young man is
waking up.
awake now. Yeah.
But this is a topic very close to our hearts, so we can go on the whole night.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that.
Exactly.
So we're gonna end this video here. Please make sure that you subscribe.
Yeah.
Please. Subscribe and like the video if you do like it, and if you feel that this could be really encourage or help other couples, please make sure that you share with them. So until next time, guys,
please enjoy the rest of your day and your week.
Yes.
Good night. Yeah.